Howdy, and welcome back to my channel and another episode of World in Flames Collector's Edition Days of Decision 3 Combined Game Playthrough. Today we'll be doing the July-August 1941 turn. Last turn we saw war break out between the Soviet Union and the German, and basically the European Axis. Though Italy has not quite declared war yet upon the Soviet Union. Probably expect that this turn. Maybe not. I mean, really, there's no Italians in Russia, so why at this point? But we saw Japan align Chile, which was an interesting little event that happened. I'm sure that makes the United States really happy. The U-boat war hasn't been going so good for the Germans right now that the British are kind of keeping up with the convoy issues. Though they are losing convoys, but they're managing to keep it up anyways, without losing too much, without having their production impacted too much. Okay, so last turn there was no partisans. I think the only place that could have had partisans was India, and the roll was good enough so no partisans actually ended up going there. So let's take a look at starting money. Alright, let's go over and take a look at that. And that's going to be a common theme, I think, this term for all the major powers. Let's see if we can get some zoom on that. That's a little better. Alright, so we got Germany setting at -8. Japan is at a whopping -13. Italy's at -4. The Soviet Union's at -7. The Commonwealth is at -8. The USA is at -5. China's at 1. And the Free French are at -3. We have a bunch of major powers that will be able to gear up at the beginning of 1942. Italy, Japan, Germany, the Soviet Union, the Commonwealth, China, the Free French, I suppose, and even the USA can all gear up in 1942. So 1942 is probably going to be pretty interesting. I don't know that the major powers will spend a whole lot of money over the next couple of turns because they're all going to want to gear up. So, yeah. Oh, there was one correction I wanted to make before I forget. I made a mistake with the Soviet production. They should have had another quarter point on their production multiple because there was combat inside the Soviet Union. There was two prerequisites for them to have additional production multiples, and they met both of them, so they should have temporarily moved up 2 levels for that turn. So they should have been at 1 1/4 instead of 1. That would have resulted in 6 production points. So what I did is I went and spent the 6 production points on a AAA unit and a fort, a two-sided fort. So that was what they spent their money on. All right, so the major powers that want to bid have placed their bids. Remember, last turn there was 2 major powers that bid and didn't get to do political action, so they're going to get bonus bid points. So let's take a look and see how this turns out. Let's zoom out. That's better. So right now we have the U.S. in first and so on. So the major powers that bid was Japan bid 1, Italy bid 1, the U.S. bid 2, and they're going to go for 2 options, and the Commonwealth bid 1. So Japan bid 1, they're going to get 4 because their political effectiveness is 4, and they didn't get a political option last turn, so that's going to give them a +4. Plus their current position is 2, so that's +2, so that's a total of +6. Plus the one they build is 7. That's going to put them in first. The Italians bid 1. They get +3 because see it. They have a political effectiveness of 3. They also did not get a political option last turn. So they will get 3 bonus bid points. Plus their current position of 4th gives them 2. So that's a total of +5 plus the one they bid is 6. That's going to put them in 2nd place. The U.S. bid 2. They get +4 for a total of 6. However, they're going to bid for 2 options, so that's a total of 3. That's a net of 3. That's going to put them in 3rd. And the Commonwealth bid 1. They're way down here in 6. They get a +1 for 2, and that'll put them in 4th. So the first last card marker will go on Japan, and the last card marker will go on Commonwealth. And now the remaining non-bidding powers, we have the Soviet Union and Germany both at +3. The Soviet Union's political effectiveness is a 5, and the Germans' political effectiveness is a 7. So the Germans break that tie. They will be in 5th. The Soviets will be in 6th. The French at 7th have a +1. That'll be 7th for them. And Chinese have 0. That'll be 8th for them. Alright, let's go take a look at what the Japanese want to do for a political option. Let's come right over here. Oh, before I do that, I want to quickly go over U.S. entry. Okay, the U.S. entry has been moving up. Currently, the raw U.S. entry total for Germany is 146. The raw Italian entry is 53. The Japanese is 69. The USA is 61. The Soviets are 75. The Commonwealth are 56. The French are 28. China is 5. And the Free French are 2. Now you plug that into the formula. There's a little formula that each major power uses, or each ideology uses rather. I don't know if you can see that. It's right there. So the fascism, for fascism, it's the target major power force. So let's say that in this case it's Germany. It's their total U.S. entry, plus half of the Japanese and Italians, minus the U.S., minus half of all other major powers. You plug all those numbers in that I just read off, what you end up with is a German U.S. entry of 63, an Italian entry of 15.5, and a Japanese entry of 24.5. What that means is that basically the U.S. can do U.S. entry options against Germany and maybe Italy, but they don't have quite enough to do anything against the Japanese right now. So you probably will see some U.S. entry actions coming up, but let's take care of Japan right now. So the Japanese, they did a reactionary minor joins in. So they're just basically gonna pay for that. That's this option right here. It's gonna pay for that. All the markers have been put out. The U.S. entry was already recorded. That was all recorded at the time they did the reactionary option. So all they have to do really is activate a miner. And I think we'll go take a look. I think there really isn't a whole lot of good options anyways. A lot of miners, as I'm sure if you've been watching the videos, you can tell a lot of the miners are pretty much already gone. I think what they'll do is they're going to activate, I don't know, maybe. Let's take a look. I usually do this off camera. There's 2 there, there's a -1 German, and there's, well, those kind of cancel, so I don't know why those are there. We could do Venezuela. That will draw Venezuela closer to Japan. Or we could also do Argentina. Argentina. They're not allied with anybody. That would actually force them out of the ideology. Yeah, let's do Argentina. We're going to do Argentina. We'll grab the markers. Even though there's a -3 Japanese there, we also have a +3 German. So hopefully this kind of nets things out a little bit, but we'll see how it works. There's Argentina right here. So the one American is not going to do nothing, because it costs at least 2 to move a hex, and that also costs another one to move across a boundary, so there'll be 3 to go there. So the one American's not going to do anything. I think what we'll do is we'll activate the German first, because if I activate the Japanese, it's going to be 2 to enter the hex, 1 to cross a boundary, which is 3, and that's it. Nobody's allied with Argentina, so it's not gonna be affected by any of that. So I think we'll do the German first. That's 3 points. It's going to be 2 to go here, 1 to go across the boundary. However, it's also a -1 moving towards you in your ideology, so it costs 2 points to move there. So that will put Argentina right here. Okay, and then the -3 Japanese. It's going to be 2 to enter the hex, 1 that's just basically going to push it back into its same place. So that's that. All right, so that's it for Japan. Move the last card marker down to Italy, and we don't have to roll to end the political phase, because there's now I think there's 5. 1, 2, 3. There's 6, 7 major powers at war. I think that might even be a +1 now. Let's see who that chart is. I'll have to go look it up. But anyway, it's not going to end this turn. So let's go see what Japan is going to do. Not Japan, I'm sorry. Italy. Let's go see what Italy's going to do. Italy's going to do a minor alliance. And she's going to try to sign an alliance with Bulgaria. Now we have a die roll. We have to add 1 to the result for each factory resource marker they have in a minor. Well, the Italians have a minor economic agreement with Bulgaria for the 1 resource in Bulgaria. So that's going to add 1. I'm going to add the minor's willpower. If we look up the willpower for Bulgaria, we're going to find out that it is not on this page. It's on this page. Let's take a look at Bulgaria. Bulgaria's willpower is a 5. It's right here. Right there. Bulgaria's willpower is a 5. So that's going to add 5 to the die. So that's a +6. Subtract your initiative position. Italy's initiative position is 2, so that's going to be a -2, so now it's a +4. Subtract the distance in hexes on the status display between your major powers, political marker, and the minors. And let's go take a look at that. We'll see that Italy's marker is here, and Bulgaria is actually hidden underneath Argentina within the fascist ideology. So it's 1, 2, 3. So it's another -3. So 4 minus 3 is 1. So we have a net of 1. Continue reading. If the result is more than 0, you succeed in making the alliance. Well, we have a +1. Can't get anything worse. I rolled a 5. So the alliance is signed. It's pretty much automatic. So I will have to go through and apply the treaty chart. It says right here, apply the treaty chart if successful. So I will do that, and I will come right back with activating a miner. Okay, I got the U.S. entry recorded. It was 1 point. It's really not a big deal. Didn't really care too much about that. I put all the miner markers out for influence, and it wasn't too much of that either. It was basically a -1 in Turkey and 3 in Bulgaria. Now it's time for Italy to activate a miner, and she's going to activate Bulgaria. Big surprise. Just signed a treaty with them. So let's see what this is going to do over here. Let's see. See, the Bulgaria is right on top now. Right here. We have a we have a 2 US, 2 American. We have a -1 for German, and we have a 3 Italian. All right, so the 2 US is not going to do anything because it costs 2 for the hex to move towards the US. The US is off in this direction over here, and 1 to cross a boundary. So that's a total of 3. So the 2 US will not do anything. The -1 German, again 2 for the hex, 1 to cross the boundary, costs 3. So the -1 German is blown off. The 3 Italian. Let's see. I don't really think which way it's going to matter. I think that's, now we're moving 1, 2, 3. We're moving closer to Italy, who can control Bulgaria. So that's going to be a -1 moving towards you in your ideology. So it's going to cost 1 less for each hex. So normally the hex costs 2. It's going to cost 1 less. So it's going to be 1. So it's going to cost 1 point to move here. We have 2 less, 2 left. Now this hex costs 2. Plus 1 to cross the boundary is 3. However, -1 moving towards you in your own ideology. So it's going to mean the hex is going to cost 2. So 2 points for that hex. That's a total of 3. Bulgaria ends up right there. Alright, and that's it for the Italians. We'll move the last card marker down another spot. The Americans are up. Let's see what the Americans are gonna do. I think they're getting tired of waiting to do things. Oh, first thing we gotta do is roll to see if the political phase ends. This is going to be +1 to the die because there's 4 to 6 major powers at war. The +2 to the die happens when all the major powers are at war. So there's still 1 major power that's not at war. So there's still not a +1 to the die, an additional +1 to the die, so it's only still a +1. So it's 1 political option has been played, and so that's a -1, and +1 to the die is straight up. A 1 ends the political phase, and we roll a 5, so we keep going. There's the 5. US is up next. And I do believe they got 2 options that they want to play. First option they're going to play is their option number 3, treaty. They're going to sign a level 3 treaty with the Commonwealth. So I will go and apply all the minor effects and record the US entry and come right back. Oh, actually, no, I have to wait. And this is how this works. I have to wait until the Commonwealth goes, and if they're successful, then I do all this. The only thing I do right now is I roll to see if the political phase ends. Probably should have done this in reversed order. Oh, I rolled a 7, so they're lucky anyways. So the second option that the US is going to play, they're going to do a US entry option. They're going to do US option number 10. US option number 10, that is, let's see that right there. Oh, that's much better. Alright, US entry option 10. Naval Patrol, they've already done entry option 9, which is East Coast Escort. Naval Patrol. U.S. prerequisites, U.S. 9 played, yes. Germany plus Italy's U.S. entry is greater than 65. Well, when we went over the U.S. entry, we found that the U.S. entry for Italy is 15.5, and the U.S. entry for Germany is 63. So that comes out to be a 78. So yes, they do indeed qualify for this one. Now let's see, what does this comprise of? It comprises of U.S. entry options 25, 29, and 38. All right, I'll be back with a second. I'll give you a quick read on all of those. Okay, U.S. entry option 25 is repair Western Allied ships. After you choose this option, U.S. may repair Commonwealth and French naval units. So basically they can repair any Commonwealth or naval or French naval units. That sounds pretty good for the British. Let's see. And entry option number 29. North Atlantic escorts. After you choose this option, while neutral, up to 5 U.S. CVs and or surface ships in the 0 section of the North Atlantic Sea area may take part in any combat rounds in which the Allied convoys are included, while still remaining neutral. There's no U.S. entry effect for the combat itself. Okay, that's pretty good for the British. And the other one is number 38. Armed merchantmen. After you choose this option, while neutral, up to 5 U.S. CVs and SCS in the 0 section of any sea area may take part in any combat round in which Allied convoys are included while still remaining neutral. That kind of sounds like the same as the other one, armed merchantmen. Yeah. So basically, it means that 5 U.S. ships, CVs or surface combat ships, can go into the 0 section of any sea area now and still remain neutral. So basically the U.S. can be committed ships to any combat in any sea area. Plus they can also now do land-based air escorts into the East Coast sea box, and they can also do East Coast escorts. They've already exhausted their gifted destroyers, so that's already been used. All right, so let's roll to see if the political phase ends. If the British get to go, then I can do all the treaty stuff, and I'll come right back with that. Let's see what happens here. 5, we continue, because there's been 1, 2, 3 options have been played. That's a -3, +1 for 4 to 6 at war, so that's a -2, and 5 minus 2 is 3, and the die roll would have needed to be a 1, so the political phase continues. We move down to the Commonwealth, and the good old Commonwealth is going to choose their Commonwealth option 0F, and that is agree to a proposal. Probably ought to zoom back out. Yeah, that's better. Agree to a proposal. So I will get all the markers put out, U.S. entry recorded, and I will be right back with them selecting a minor neutral to activate. And what this is going to do is this is going to put the U.S. and the Commonwealth in a level 3 treaty, which means they can fully cooperate once the U.S. is at war. Be back in a sec. Okay, Commonwealth to activate a minor is going to choose Portugal. They see they can probably get some use out of this, and this may be actually beneficial to them at some point in the future. So let's go over here and take a look at how this is going to work. So we have a 3 American and a 1 German. The Portuguese marker is right here. The United States is right here. So we'll activate the German marker. It costs at least 2 to move a hex, so that's going to do nothing. So when we get the 3 American, you got to remember Portugal also has a treaty with the Commonwealth. So this could affect it once it gets close enough to the ideology, and it actually starts affecting it to if the fascists or the communists want to try to influence the marker to move it away from the Commonwealth, it has a negative effect on that. So we got 3 US points. It's going to cost 2 for this hex, and the other point is wasted, so we'll just deal with that. And that is the end of the political phase. I have rolled initiative, and I have rolled the weather, so let's take a look at what we got there. We came out with an initiative roll of 9 for the Germans. Oh, I'm sorry, 9 for the Democrats, a 6 for the fascists, and a 5 for the communists. Well, now the fascists do have a +2, and the Democrats do have a -1. So the fascists will allow the Democrats to move first, because the tie is broken by whoever was first last turn. The one that wasn't gets to choose. So the fascists will let the Democrats go first. The that's 6, 7, 8, and that's an 8. No, actually, the fascists have changed their mind. They are going to go first. The Democrats are going to go second. No, I keep changing my mind. They're just going to leave it as is. We're just going to leave it as is. There's some little wheels were turning there for a second, but they stopped turning. I'm sure everybody has those moments. Okay, so the weather roll was a 2, which is fine weather everywhere except north monsoon has rain. The impulse marker will move up 1. There's no modifier for next turn's next set of impulses weather roll. Well, let's go take a look at reinforcements. There is a ton of reinforcements, especially for the communists. This is one of the things that I kind of have a little bit of a problem with using strict gearing limits, because the Soviets could never do what they historically did, which was basically over a 3-month period just spam all these militia units. Okay, anyways, get on a rant about that. So here we got the Soviets. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 militia, and a 45mm anti-tank gun that was shattered last turn, so that's why it came in this turn. We also have, for the Soviets, we have some infantry. We have some Siberians. We have infantry army. We have anti-aircraft gun. We have a garrison army, and we have a bomber. An Su-2 bomber. Not bad. Not a bad bomber. We're actually going to put that on the map. We will use a pilot. If we have a pilot, we will use a pilot, and we do have a pilot. So we'll put that on the map. They also get a heavy cruiser, the Voroshilov. We'll have to figure out where we're going to put that. Okay, that's the Russians. The Chinese are getting an artillery unit and a Cav division, both nationalists. Chinese are actually not doing very bad at all in this game. I think they're kind of okay. They're doing pretty good, actually. The French get a transport into the construction pool. They're probably going to build that. That's the Free French, by the way. Free French built that. The Germans get a whole pile of units. They get SS Panzer Corps, a motorized division. They get 2 pilots. They also get a fighter, so that's going to be one of their pilots. So we'll only record 1 pilot. And they got a garrison division. They also have the Elba going into the construction pool. That's a carrier. They have two subs going into the construction pool. One of them's a Milchin unit. They have a bunch of other naval units coming on the board. They have two subs that will be coming on the board. The Spanish have a damaged heavy cruiser. Be coming back for them. It's fixed up nice, and the Germans also have a heavy cruiser, the Sidlitz, coming back on map. Oh, and also two more submarines. So a total of 4 submarines for the Germans. The Italians, on the other hand, we have a light cruiser going in the construction pool, and it's a real light cruiser. We also have some air units. We have a pilot, so we will bring him on map. And we have a convoy point, a tanker point, 2 tanker points. Some of those, I believe, were repaired. The Japanese, these are all stacked up like this because I actually went through this little piece of pie here and organized everything, so I wasn't picking a unit here and there and trying to figure out where things go. The Zukaku will be going on map for the Japanese. That's a very good carrier. They have, I'll have to figure this out later. They have some carrier air groups. They have 3 convoy points and some territorials and a militia that they built. Those will all be going on map. The US has a bunch of stuff. They have 2 tanker points. That's going on map, obviously. They have the heavy cruiser, well, the light cruiser Boise, the Hornet. Both of those will be going on map. I don't know which fleet they're going to go in. I would suspect the Pacific Fleet. Though they're kind of having a problem with that right now. Got 3 more convoy points. They built a P-40E fighter, Kitty Hawk. That can go to either the Chinese or the Soviets. Put that over here for now. That will require a pilot. I don't know, maybe not. We got another Kitty Hawk. That can go to the French. And we have a bomber. So those are going to go in the reserve pool. We only have 1 pilot, and to put one on the map we have to have a pilot. And this guy, he can go to the Chinese too, but we don't actually have the ability to get them to the Chinese right now. Oh, and we also have a, it says a light cruiser going into the construction pool. Excellent, very excellent. For the Commonwealth, we got a light cruiser going in the construction pool. We got a bunch of convoy points and tanker points. I think those were all damaged at some point. We have a couple of carriers. Some of these may have also been damaged. We have a couple of heavy cruisers, again, stuff that was probably damaged. I will have to figure out. They're probably all going to go in the home fleet for now, because the home fleet is the one that really is having the pressure put on them at this time. And we have a bunch more light and heavy cruisers that also will go in the home fleet for now. And I think that is about it. I will get these on the map and we'll come right back with the first impulse, which will be the democracies. Okay, for the Democrats' first impulse, the Commonwealth chose a naval action. They sent the home fleet into the Bay of Biscay, guard against the German sortie. They also sent out their convoy escorts here, over in here, over there. The U.S. sent 3 ships out. That's a combined action because they're still a neutral country. They can still only do combined. So for this impulse, they sent 3 ships out to the East Coast to help escort. The Chinese, what would it look? The Chinese just moved a few units around. Nothing too much. Kinda. Didn't really do too much. Then we started the fascist impulse. The Italians did a naval. They're going to have a little sub-action going on down here. Plus they moved some transports back. The Japanese did a land action. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They did a combined action. They have a possible attack here. And the Germans did a land. They have a few attacks. A couple of them are risky. So let's see how this turns out. Let's start out here in Asia. So we have 4 ground strikes for the Japanese. We have a 3, a pair of 2s, and I believe a 1. And a 1 right there. Alright, so grab some dice. Okay, so for the first unit, the 3 and the 1, I'll roll them in like that, and then I'll roll 2 2s. So I'll roll a 3 and a 1. The red die is going to be the 3 for the first unit. Nothing. And then we have a pair of 2s for the first unit. And the first unit is flipped over. We got a 2. So Chang is flipped over. That's disappointing for Chang. I'll put him there for now. Alright, and for the second unit, the infantry army, the red die is a 3 again. Nothing. And a pair of 2s. Nothing. Alright, so Chang is flipped over. That's going to give a +1. These guys all got to go someplace and flip over. I believe he goes to Shanghai. Oh, I was supposed to do that, but I forgot. Oh, too bad for me. Alright. So Wuhan, they'll win all in Wuhan. Alright. So we're going to use HQ benefits. Teraducci, he's a 2. That will give him a +1. So from these 3 hexes minus the 5-4, he's not attacking. We have a 2-to-1 +2. Not exactly a bang-up attack, to say the least. Obviously, the Chinese are going to choose the assault table. It's in the mountains, so I believe the mountains allows the defender doubled and has choice. So they're going to take the assault table. They really want to try to bleed the Japanese. 2-to-1 +2. Yeah, it could be bad. Could be bad, could be good, could be nothing. Alright, let's go. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's bad. 2 becomes a 4. Well, 1 defender dies. No attackers die. So 1 defender and no attackers. However, the bad news for the Japanese is that all their attacking units are going to be flipped over. So obviously the Chinese won't care that Chang is flipped over now because all the attacking units, except 1, are going to be flipped over next to him. So it's not going to matter much at all. So this Japanese progress in China is really, the 154 is not flipped over, is really bogged down to basically just nothing more than a slugfest trying to get 1 hex and bleeding profusely to do that. And that's actually going to be a cadre too. Okay, that's it for Japan. Now, let's turn our attention to the Italians. They got a sub action going on in the, I I think that's Cape Verde. Cape Verde Basin. All right. So they will flip over a sub. Let's take a look at that. Right there. They're going to flip over a sub to initiate something. You can never tell with the Italians. Let's see if who finds what here. Well, we got a pair of 10s, so nobody found anything, and it's a big giant 0. Look at that. Pair of 10s. The Italians strike again. All right, they're done. Now let's go take a look and see what the Germans got going on. They got some attacks here. They got a pretty big attack right here. It's like 15 to 1, so that's going to be an automatic kill. Well, that will be a cadre for the Russians. Unfortunately, they're going to lose another factory. And I'll occupy that hex. Over here, they have a 6 to 1. They have a 6 to 1 on the Blitzkrieg table with a +1. Let's take a look at that. 6 to 1 Blitzkrieg +1. Really can't get hurt, and these units are surrounded. We're rolling the wrong die, but we got a 3. 6 to 1 with a 3 is a star breakthrough. Well, breakthrough means he has a retreat route. He could retreat to here. I think that's what that means. Let's check that out. Let's check that out, make sure. Okay, result plus breakthrough. Okay, remaining attacking units. Okay, yep. Star plus breakthrough. Destroy land units that cannot retreat. Okay, so he can retreat. So he's going to retreat to here. That really didn't do too much. Actually, he can go here, and since it's a breakthrough, he'll just go here. And that actually helps a little bit. These guys can actually, I'm going to leave them free for now. Alright, so that's that attack. We have another attack right here. There we go. We have another attack right here. This one's at 8 to 1. It's on the assault table. On the assault table for 8 to 1. I'll show you the table after I roll the die. Oh, it's going to be 7 to 1 because there is no 8 to 1, and the next one up from that is 10 to 1. So 7 to 1 on the assault table. That's another bad roll. And there's no pluses. Assault 3, 7 to 1. Cross 2S. That's going to flip over half the German units. So he dies. He does not go in the cadre box. He's going to go in the Dawn box. So half these units are going to flip over. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 units. So 3 have to flip over. Well, the Romanians, they don't need to be. They can flip over. And I think that artillery unit can flip over. These two guys are going to occupy. Stravinsky, whatever it's called. And we got a not so good attack right here at 4 to 1. Alright. So we get 4 to 1 straight up. Oh, that's much better. 4 to 1 in the assault table. A 9 is asterisk 2S. So he's gone. He will go, they will get a cadre for him, but he's going to be removed from the game after. And we'll occupy Stalino. And that's going to be that. Oh, wait a minute, that was a factory. That's actually a -1. So that's going to be on the assault table 4-1. That would be an 8. Oh, half of them are flipped over. Half the German units are flipped over. So we'll flip that guy over and that guy over. So overall, this attack that the Germans have launched on their first impulse hasn't been that great. And that's it. We're going to go to the Soviet impulse. I will be right back with a review of what the Soviets did. I don't think there'll be any attacks, but there might be some movement. Okay, so I have run through the Russians' turn. I did forget to rail. There was supposed to be a unit that was railed here, so I'll have to do that. Let me grab that real quick. I meant to rail that. Alright. Okay, so sometimes you forget these things. Okay, so as of right now, we do have somewhat of a line, sort of, that the Russians have pieced together, and it doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's better than what they had at the beginning of the turn. They railed a few units here and there, so that has helped them quite a bit. They still have a big problem down here. However, there are several German and German allies that are flipped over now. So this guy is supposed to be upright. Don't forget to move those. Bad me. And he should have been moved to here. But that's okay. Right there. Blocking the Kerch Strait. Okay, so there's a few other units I forgot to move that I need to move. I should have moved. That's good enough. Looks good. Looks good. Yeah, okay. So that was the end of the Communist impulse. We'll see what happens. The Germans are definitely outrunning their supply and their air cover right now, so I don't know. And I did roll the weather for the next set of impulses, and the weather roll was a 10, which gives us a +1 to the weather roll for next turn, and it's storm and the north monsoon. So that's not going to be very good weather at all over here. Unfortunately, most of the Japanese units are flipped over that really can attack, so there won't probably be much going on in this area anyways. So I will come back after the Democrats finish their impulse, unless there's some attack somewhere. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so we have finished the Democrat impulse, and I've also finished the movement for the fascist impulse. Let's show you what happened. The U.S. took a combined action and staged some more warships out into the Atlantic, because since the last U.S. entry effect, they now can escort convoys in any sea area now. They're ramping up their response to the Axis aggression, or the fascist aggression. I guess they call them fascists. I'm just used to calling them Axis all the time. Okay, so that's what the U.S. did. The Commonwealth, they took a combined action. They just moved a few land units over here in the Middle East, up from Suez, where they had landed last turn, and they brought a few units down. Actually, I think they took a land action. They brought a few units down that were staged up in Syria here, in this area. They brought them down, trying to form some kind of a line, kind of trying to contain the Italians. Shouldn't be too hard. The Chinese, all they did was they moved their artillery up to here, and they moved the cav into this hex here. And that is outside of the north monsoon zone, which is storm. Okay, that ended the Democrat impulse. I moved on to the fascists. And the fascists, the Germans took a land impulse. As you can see, they moved some. I forgot to rebase their air. I'll do that after combat. They did move a few units here and there. They are still in supply at this point. They don't have a whole lot of attacks going on right now because their line is stretched just as thin as the Russians are. But they have a couple here and there, and they're really stretching their supply right now as well. So the Italians took a naval. They moved the fleet into the Italian coast. There's also a couple transports there transporting the German Africa Corps. It'll be interesting to see where they actually land, either North Africa or maybe even the Middle East. Who knows? Could go either way. The Japanese, they're just chilling. They moved a few land units here and there just to keep coverage for partisans, but that's about all they did. They did land that mechanized division down here in whatever the name of that is. What is that anyways? Snongkla. I'm sure I mangled that real good. Alright, so let's go, and we got the sub action first. Let's go do that with the Italians. The Italians, they had their subs down in the Cape Verde area, so let's go check that out. There they are. They flipped another one, so they're going to try and do something again, and that takes 2 dice to roll. So far the Spanish fleet hasn't really moved too much. Let's see what happens here. Well, we got a 5 and an 8. That's a big nothing. Big nothing. The 5 is higher than any of the sea boxes the Italian subs are in, so I guess the Italians forgot to put their periscopes up or something. Who knows? Italians. Great. There are no attacks in the Asian theater, so let's skip right over to the Russian front. And we got a couple of attacks. Actually, we have one. Not a lot to see here. Literally, it's one attack. It's at 10 to 1. 4 and 6 is 10. There's a 10 to 1 attack right there. That succeeds. Doesn't matter what table it's on. This militia unit, Kharkov, is toast. He does get a cadre for it, but the Germans will occupy the hex. And that is it. That is it for attacks. Okay, great. I'm going to rebase some air for the Germans, and then I will be on to the Soviet impulse and the Democrat impulse and the fascist impulse. I will stop if the Democrats or the Soviets or anybody has an attack, but I'm really not seeing that at this point. So I'll probably return when we roll back around with the fascist impulse. Back in a second. Okay, for the Democrats impulse, nothing much went on in China. The Commonwealth did another land, shuffle around a few units down here in Africa. Basically trying to toughen up some of the hexes a little bit better. 7 in that one, 8 in this one. Okay, not too much else going on. The U.S. deployed 3 more ships, combined action. They put them in the North Atlantic. I just put them beside that big stack because you just fall over if I stack them all in there. That wrapped it up for the Democrats. The Italians, they took another. They took a land action, I believe. And the only thing they want to do is they just moved a couple units. They really can't get any kind of attack down here in Africa. This is the best hex they got, and it's 9 points, and they got 9, and 5 is not even a 2-to-1. So it's looking grim for the prospects in Africa. Okay, but they did flip another sub down here, so we'll try another sub action. The Germans took an air impulse, and the blitz is on. We're going to have a potential bombing of London going on down here. So let's go and take care of there are no attacks in Russia this turn. Let's go and take care of the Italian sub-action. See if anything actually happens. Gonna roll some dice again. The Reds, the Italian die. A 5 and a 4. Nothing. So all that down there with the Italians ended up being a big giant 0. Alright, now let's go to the bombing of London. First we got some air combat. The British are probably going to go one round and abort. They only want to do this to prevent the Germans from getting a +1 on their strategic bombing. So what do we got here? We got 5.3 versus 7.6, 8.2, 8.7. Let's see, that is a difference of 53 from 87 is 33.4, which rounds to 3. So it's going to be +3, -3. So the British will roll first on the -3. And they get a 9. That's a really bad roll. -3, 9. Attacker clears through any one bomber. So we're going to clear through this guy because he's a 3. Actually, we're going to clear through this guy because he's a 4. Now, I'll just put it down here at the bottom for now. Okay, and then the Germans are going to roll on the +3 column. Okay, +3. The British are hoping for nothing too bad. 3 is really bad. 3. Attacker kills. Defenders, front fighter, or front bomber. So the British are going to lose their front fighter, their Hurricane, made out of wood. Unfortunately, he's going to be gone, and they're going to abort this. They just do. The only reason for that combat was to prevent the Germans from getting a +1 on their strategic bombardment. Now all we have to do is add up what we have for strategic factors. And the strategic factor on the air unit is the lower right number. So in this case it's the 2. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 14, and 5 more is 19 points. There's no anti-aircraft units in the hex. Nope. So it's going to be a straight up 19 points. And that is a single die roll. Strategic bombardment, 19. A 3 is a really bad roll. 3 is 1 production point. I'll show you the table. Strategic bombardment. You can see that. Strategic bombardment. The 19 to 24 column. A roll of 3 is 1 production point. The British are more than happy with that. They really didn't want the Germans rolling something like a 10 or something like that. They would have lost a factory. Okay, so that's going to be it for that. I'm going to land these planes. Oh, and that's done down there. There's no combat in Asia. So I will move on to the Democrat or the Communist impulse and move them, and then I'll probably move the Democrats, and I'll be back with the next fascist impulse, unless something actually happens where there's an attack by the Russians or an attack by the British or something. I'm just going to skip right through the turn. So back in a second. Okay, the Democrats, the Americans just sent out some more ships into the Atlantic. The British took a combined option. They moved some transports. Still trying to get troops to the Middle East. The Chinese nationalists didn't do anything. Well, there was an attack by the Free French down in Africa. It was an 11-1 attack on the Spanish garrison in the Spanish Sierra. They took that out. That was real tough. Yeah, they kicked their butt. Oh, the weather roll that the Democrats made was a 9, which is fair weather everywhere except north monsoon has storm, and the impulse marker moves up 1. So then we moved on to the fascists. The Germans took a naval. The Italians took a land. They're not going to do too much because they don't really have a lot to do. And so what we got is we got some potential naval action in the Atlantic. So let's start here. We'll flip a ship and do a search. Search. Let's see. There we go. We got some fleets. The fleets in question are the Atlantischer and the... Oh, that's the Atlantischer. The Nord. Actually, these are reversed. This is supposed to be here, and the Nord is supposed to be there. All right. So the Atlantischer, to give you an idea, over here in the fleet box is this group of German ships with the 2 Swedes, and the Nord fleet is over here. It's this group of Swedish ships. Okay. And the home fleet is right here. That's the British fleet that they have there. And the Mediterranean fleet from Gibraltar is right here. Give you some idea of the number of ships they have. If anything actually happens, we'll lay them out. Let's see. Searching. It'd be nice if they actually had this chart printed somewheres, but they don't. At least I haven't been able to find it anywheres. Alright, so searching. Okay, so this box here for the Germans, they don't have any range 4 CAGs, so they don't get a plus. So that's going to be a 4. This box is also going to be a 4. Okay, so the Commonwealth, however, does have a carrier group. I don't even know what this is called. What is this, a Fulmar? It's a fighter. Fulmar. Okay, so they have the carrier plane Fulmar on one of their carriers that has a range of 4. So they will be getting a +1 for this group. This group does not have any range 4 carrier planes, so they will be straight up. So it's these 2 are 4s for the Germans. So these 2 are 4s. This is a 4 for the Commonwealth, and this is a 2. And so it's just basically a die roll and see what happens. There are no convoy points that matter in this sea area because the American convoy points don't count. It's a neutral major power. Alright, let's see what happens. Well, that certainly is interesting. We have a 6 for the Commonwealth, and we have a 2 for the fascists. So, let's figure that out. So 2 for the fascists includes all the ships that the fascists committed, including the subs, from the 2 box to the 4 box. The Commonwealth rolled a 6. They have nothing that's in the 6, so none of their ships found any of the fascists. So what this means is that the fascists can commit all the ships from the 2, 3, and 4 box to fight either one of these fleets or both of these fleets. And I think what they're going to do is they're probably going to go after, let's see, the surprise points. The surge, it's not rain, snow, or nothing. There's no, okay, that doesn't apply. Search points. Search points, it's the modified search number of the highest section of the C box. For me, it's for both of us, it's a 4. Plus your opponent's unmodified, so it's a 10 versus a 6. So it's 4 surprise points. 4 surprise points that the fascists have. Okay, it could be a carrier air combat. Don't really think that the fascists want that. Simply because actually they're going to engage the Mediterranean fleet. They're going to engage the Mediterranean fleet. And yeah. And they're going to spend the 4 surprise points and make it a, well, they could make it a carrier air combat against them, because they do have, whatever planes are, they're just going to get shot out of the air. There's too much anti-aircraft. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to make it a surface action, and we're going to go up against the Med Fleet. So I will be right back with the numbers. Okay, so I worked out the numbers. We have 33 surface combat factors for the Commonwealth for 13 ships. We have 88 surface combat factors for the fascists with 32 ships. And that results in, for the Commonwealth, they do 2 sunk, 1 damaged, and 2 aborted to the fascists. For the fascists, they do 3 sunk, 2 damaged, 2 aborted to the Commonwealth. So now, we have to pick, we'll do the Commonwealth ships first because it's simultaneous, so it really doesn't matter. The carriers are all screened. So I think the Commonwealth, they want to get some actual ships sunk. So, they don't want to pick ships that are going to save. They need to get rid of some of these fascist ships. Alright, so they're going to sink the WiFCE. So the fascists roll. They need to roll better than an 8. They rolled a 10, so the WiFCE is actually only damaged. So put it over here sideways. Now the Germans, they're going to pick they're going to pick the Espin, what is this ship? Yeah. Alright, we're going to pick the Oscar II. So I have to roll better than an 8, or this ship will be sunk. I rolled better than an 8. It's damaged. Gosh, I'm going to put the damaged ships up here. Because if they get damaged again, then they're permanently sunk. Now, the Commonwealth picks another ship to damage. They're going to pick the WiFCE. So if he doesn't save, he'll be damaged again. That's 2 damages. He'll be sunk. So I got to roll better than an 8. I don't. So the WiFCE is sunk. We'll put him over in a cadre box. It doesn't count as a cadre, though. Now we have 2 aborts, and that's for me. I'm going to pick the Frederick de Grub. Save as an abort. He's a 1. He actually aborts. Frederick the Globe aborts. He aborts. And the Commonwealth will pick the Bismarck to abort. And that one's safe. So that gets a half an abort. At the end of this round, the half of abort will disappear. You can actually pick the same ship twice in the same round. So now, it's the Germans' turn. So the first time, they're going to pick a sunk for the Rodney. The Rodney is a 2. So the Commonwealth has to roll better than a 2 to save the Rodney, or it's damaged. He does save, so he is damaged. Okay, the Frederick Globe is aborted. He is damaged. Now the Commonwealth picks a ship to be sunk. They don't really want anything sunk, so they're going to pick the Ramillies. That's a 4. You don't mind getting damaged, they'll just fix them, and America will pay for it. Okay, he does save, so he's damaged. So the Ramillies is also damaged. And I'm going to put the damaged ships up here. And the last one, the Fascists are going to pick the Resolution for the last sunk ship. Okay, so the Commonwealth player's got to roll. That also is a 4. He doesn't roll a 4. He is actually sunk. So down he goes. Now we got the damages. The Commonwealth player is going to pick the... This is going to be a damaged ship if he doesn't save. So he's going to pick the... Sussex. The Sussex is a 6. So if I don't save, I gotta roll better than a 6. I rolled a 6. That's not better than a 6. So he is damaged. Yep. So we got 3 damaged ships. Now the German player will pick for damage. He's going to go for the Rodney. If the Rodney doesn't save, he will be sunk. No, actually, let's go for the Ramillies. Because he's already damaged. If he gets another damage, he's gone. And he saves, so he's okay. He's half aborted. Actually, he's fully aborted, so he's going to be aborted. Okay? And then finally, we have 2 aborts. The Commonwealth player will pick the Sussex. What did I roll? I rolled a 4, right? Because he's damaged, this moves up 1. No, it was plenty. Okay, so he's going to roll for boarding the Rodney. The Rodney aborts, or saves his abort. He gets a half an abort. And finally, the German will play an abort on the Rodney as well. He doesn't save, he's fully aborted. So these 2 are aborted. This one's damaged. This one's damaged. And this one is aborted. He might as well just go back home. So I don't think they're aborted until after the combat is over. Okay, well, he's aborted, not damaged. So I'm going to put him here because these are aborted but damaged. Alright, so now it's up to either side to decide whether or not they want to continue. I think the Germans, they've sunk 1 ship. Sunk 1 ship. They've damaged 2, 3. They've lost 1 ship and had 1 damaged. I'd like to get some more out of this. They really would. So I think they're going to try and do another round. Alright. Now it's up to the Commonwealth. Do the Commonwealth? No, of course the Commonwealth don't want to abort. Why would they? They outnumber them. They want to sink some fascist ships. Let's see what we get here. Well, that's kind of a middling roll. We got a 1 and a 5. It's actually the same exact roll as last time. Alright, it's the same roll as last time. I gotta find out if the aborted ships go home after a round. Okay, this really wasn't that good a deal for the Commonwealth. They had a really bad roll here, so they're gonna probably get hosed. It's the same situation as the last round. The fascists have 4 surprise points, so they're going to use their 4 surprise points to pick surface, and they're going to engage the Mediterranean fleet again with everything they have. So there are 10 ships. The Commonwealth has a total of 15 points, so it's pretty low. They're going to do 1, 2, and 1. The fascists have 85 points with 31 ships. They're going to do 3, 1, and 3. So we'll do the Commonwealth first. They get a ship that's sunk. They're going to try and sink this Swedish ship right here, the Sverige. It's a 7. So the fascists have to roll. They rolled a 9. That is above 7, so it is damaged. Now they get 2 damages. I picked the damage first. I'm going to pick the Gneisenau. That's a 3. Okay, that's aborted. So the Gneisenau is aborted. I'll put him here. Down here. Now he picks a damage. Commonwealth player picks a damage. He's going to pick the Sverige again. That's a 7, which is going to be now an 8. He's got to roll better than an 8. He doesn't. He's sunk. And then finally there's 1 aborted, and that's going to be picked by, I'm going to go with the Tirpitz. That's a 2. He saves. He gets a half abort, so which will go away at the end of the round. Okay. Now it's the Germans' turn. They got 3 sunks, 1 damage, and 3 aborts. Unfortunately, there aren't any British ships here that are battleships anymore. It's all cruisers. So for the first sunk, they're going to pick the Belfast. That's a 3. I'm sorry, that's a 6. So he's got to roll a 7 or better. He rolls a 6. The Belfast is sunk. Alright, now the Commonwealth player picks 1 to sink. He doesn't really want any of these sunk. He's going to pick probably the least expensive one. He's going to pick the light cruiser Curlew. That's an 8. I think the Commonwealth is... Oh, he actually saved, so he's damaged. All right, and last, the Commonwealth, fascist player for a damage is going to pick the Devonshire. That is also a 6. This is for sunk. He rolled a 6. It's sunk. He's going to roll better than a 6. So he's sunk. I'm going to look that up. Make sure. Okay, that's correct. I rolled the defense value or less. It suffers the result. Now we have a damage. The fascist, Commonwealth, fascist. This is Commonwealth. So for damage, the Commonwealth player is going to pick the Leander. It's a New Zealand ship. It's a 7. That suffers an abort. So it's aborted. Now there are 3 aborts. So we're just going to go the 3 light cruisers here. They're all 8s. So we're just going to roll 3 dice. 1. He's aborted. Oh no, he's not. He's a half abort, and aborted. So one of them is aborted. So he's aborted. The other two are fine. Now it's up to. Now we're at the point where all the results have been implemented. We have to decide whether or not one side or the other is going to abort the battle. The Germans, they want to stay. They're doing pretty good, and they decided, hey, we'll stay. We'll see what happens. The British, on the other hand, have decided, well, you know, we got hosed pretty bad, so we're going to abort. We're going to abort, and abort, and abort. Both fleets are going to abort back to England. These two guys are aborted. That was a real hose job for the British. They got really hosed bad. These are damaged. They got 4 ships damaged. The fascists have 1 ship damaged. Swedish light cruiser of all things. And yeah, that was something. That was something different. All right, well, police this up and be back with the next battle. It's going to be in the Farrell's Gap. Next up is the Farrell's Gap. We're going to roll, see if anybody finds anybody. Well, who knows? I think the fascists are at a 4, and the Commonwealth is at a 5. Yeah. All right, let's see what we get. Okay, the fascists are at a 4, and the Commonwealth is at a 5. So this is what we rolled. We rolled a 3 and a 4. So so basically the 3 and 4 box found the 4 box. Now this is where it gets sticky. It's actually no surprise points at all. Let's see. He found my 4 box. I found his. Actually, these two found any of these, and this one found any of these. So I think it's no surprise points. The active player decides. It has to be naval air for the first round, and he's going to go after this. These two, obviously. Well, maybe it goes. They're actually going to go after this. Yeah. So that's 1, 2, 3. 3 anti-aircraft points. So 4. 4 anti-aircraft points. There are no surprise points. No surprise points. 4 anti-aircraft points. Anti-aircraft. 1 enemy bomber. It's anti-aircraft 4. Nothing. It's a big 0. Doesn't do anything. And he has 1 surface to air point. Air to sea. 1. 3 ships, 1 abort. He picks it. He's gonna pick this guy, the steer. He's gonna be aborted. Now we go for another round. Okay. The Commonwealth player is not aborting. Nobody finds anybody. I rolled 7 for the Commonwealth. Messed the dice up. I rolled a 7 for the Commonwealth, and I rolled a 10 for the fascists. So that is the end of that round. The Italians got nothing going on, and that's the end of the fascist turn. I'll be back probably with the next fascist turn. The Japanese are not doing anything. They kind of wound down with their one attack, and that was it. Okay, we're back to the fascist impulse. The Democrats tried to end the turn. They did fail, though. It was a pretty low odds chance, but they thought, well, they didn't really have a whole lot to move, and they decided to take a chance. And it failed. Now we're back to the fascist impulse. The Italians took a land action. They got 2 ground strikes here. I believe they can do 2 ground strikes. The land action. I'll check that real quick. Air missions, 1. Are they going to only do 1? Well, that certainly is a bummer. So we'll do 1. 1 ground strike. We got a 2. I'll grab 2 dice. The red is the top unit. 3 and a 9 doesn't do it, so the ground strike was useless. Okay, so he's going to fly back and land. I'm going to put this guy back. Came off his stack. Alright, they did their movie thing. They paid for land action. And what they got here is we got 9. And Gort's going to do HQ effects because the Italians are going to do HQ effects. So they're going to be flipped over them now. It's just a net 0. So we got 5, 10. But 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, and 3 is 20. 20 to 9, 2 to 1. It's not a very good attack for the Italians. Hope they can do something with it. 2 to 1. They're going to try the Blitzkrieg table because I don't think he's an armor, is he? Oh, yeah. Wavell is an armored HQ, but the Italians have motorized, and an armored HQ and a mechanized unit, so they outweigh them. The other unit is infantry, territorial. There's something about territorials too. Territorials outside their home country, I think you have. It's just when they're alone. Okay. Okay, so we have a 2 to 1 on the Blitzkrieg table, +1. Italians are praying for a miracle. They need it. 2 to 1 +1. A 9! Oh my God. Who would have thought? 2 to 1 +1 with a 9, which becomes a 10. Asterisk 1B. So, that's asterisk. No Italian units are flipped over. 1 British unit is killed. The breakthrough is shattered result plus breakthrough. Destroy land units that cannot place remaining defending land units on the production circle to arrive as reinforcements next turn. So Wavell is going to be on the production circle. The Egyptian territorial is destroyed. They will get a cadre for that. Wavell goes on the production circle. This is actually pretty bad. This is pretty bad because the Italians all remain face up, and that was a breakthrough. In desert, in fine weather, only cost motorized, mechanized, and armor 1 movement point, so they can actually break through here. So they're going to go, the HQ is going to go here, and they're going to capture Alexandria. That's a disaster for the Commonwealth. They did not see that coming at all. 2 to 1. Who would have thought rolling a 9? I expected them to roll 1 and lose half their army, but hey. Alright. That's the end of the Italians, or maybe it's the end of the Commonwealth in Africa. We got some German attacks up here. We'll do the auto ones first. It's right there. Okay. We have the Germans took a land action. They also have flipped a sub in the Pharos Gap, so there's a possibility of something happening there. We'll do that after. There's an 8 to 1 attack here. He's toast. They will get a cadre for that. And I do believe that will be not a breakthrough because it's woods. Up here we have a 4-to-1 attack. That's a ground strike. First we have to do the ground strike. I think. I can't remember. Let me check this. This is 12 points here. We have 11, 14, 22, 31, 33, 41, 49 to 12. Yes, it's a ground strike. Thought it was. I just couldn't remember. So first we roll the ground strike. Incidentally, ground strikes are supposed to come before movement, but I put the ground strikes out, then I move everything anyways, so just to save time on filming and editing and all that fun stuff. So it's a ground strike, it's a 3, and he does succeed. He does succeed, so he's going to fly back and flip over. And this guy is flipped. It's a clear hex. It is a city though. Because it's a city, the defender will get to choose 4-to-1 plus 2. It's going to be on the assault table. The Germans will roll that. 4-to-1 plus 2. 4-to-1 on the assault table plus 2. It's going to be a 6. It's not a very good result for the Germans. I'll show you 4-to-1 on the assault table. If you can see that, it's kind of blurry. Let's see if we can. Nope. Okay, I'm going to do it over here. To see the result of this. 4-to-1. I rolled a 4. All right. There's the 4. And 4-to-1 plus 2 is a 6. Okay, that's much better. 4-to-1 plus 2 is a 6. It's right here. It's no loss to the attacker. 1 loss to the defender. The remaining unit shattered. Okay, so, but all the attackers will be flipped over. So that's going to kind of end that offensive in that area. Right here. So let's see, which one's this one? This one is dead. This one goes back on the production chart. Okay, he's going to be a cadre. We can occupy the hex. So that was the Battle of Smolensk. But everybody is flipped over. That puts a big dent in the ability of the Germans to actually attack anything for the rest of this turn. Okay, we got one more. Up here in the north, we have a potential 5-to-1 attack. This is ground support with an escort. Okay. However, the Russians can throw this in as ground support, and they are going to. So we're going to have, that's a bomber. We have 2 fascist bombers. Can you see that? Okay, here's their bomber. Here's the 2 fascist bombers. And we have a fascist fighter stream. A 4. So it's going to be a 4 against a 3. So it's a +1, -1. So the bomber, air-to-air combat, -1. He fires first. He gets an 11. I can't quite see that, huh? Move forward. Yes, we can. There we go. He gets an 11. And 11 on the -1. Defender clears through 1 bomber. So we'll clear through this bomber. He will make it. And now the Germans roll back on the +1. They roll same exact result. 11. 11 on the +1. Defender clears through one of his bombers. So he actually gets cleared through. That actually sucks for the Germans. So he's cleared through. And that's it. The other bomber goes through as well. The fighter, I'll take care of them later. So now the odds are actually going to drop to 4-1. We do have armor, so it's going to give us a +1. I do believe we have armor. No, maybe we don't have armor. Oh, yes, we do have armor. So it's going to give us a +1. It's going to be on the Blitzkrieg table. Check that real quick. Forced. Either's choice, aircraft halved. Doesn't matter, it's not enough now. Okay. So we will have, on the Blitzkrieg table, 4-1, +1. This could be another bad attack. Oh, another 4. Now they're starting to choke. Alright, that's a cross, 1R. So half the attacking units remain face up. 1 defender destroyed. The remainder have to retreat. There is only 1 defender there. He's going to go home and flip over. He's going to go home and flip over. He's going to go home and flip over. He's going to go in the cadre box. And he's going to go home and flip over. A lot of flippity flops. Now, we can occupy the hex. We want to occupy the hex, definitely. I got to flip 2 units over. Alright, that one go there, he's there. And that is it. That is it. The Germans are grinding to a halt. Oh, actually, I got 1 more attack. I did set it up, but we'll see. 1 more potential attack. Get the damn light out of the way. There we go. That's going to be right here. We have 11, 18, 23, 26. 26, 33, 39 to 5. No, that's 7-1. And it's out of range of this. Oh, I can go double. No, it doesn't have an arrow. So, too bad. Tough poop, you're out of luck. That's a 7-1 on the Blitzkrieg table with a +1. 7-1. Oh, it's automatically dead. It's start to be 7-1 with 39 to 5. So he's gone. He gets over here. And they can actually blitz, and I think they will. And let's see, where do I get my armor? Where's the armor? There's some armor. He's going to occupy the hex. He's going to occupy the hex. He's going to occupy the hex, and they're going to blitz here. Just like that. I am way beyond my ability. The Foches are way beyond their ability to support this right at this point, but they're just pushing everything they can right now. Everything they can. Okay, that's it for that. Let's go do the naval. Let's go do the naval. We flippity flop the sub. I think it's the same thing. Let's see. The Fascists roll a 5 and the Democrats roll a 7. Nothing happens. Alright, now I'll roll in, see if the turn ends. We need a 2. 2. 2, 2. Nope. I will move on to the Democrats and see what happens. Okay, we're back around to the fascist impulse again. The Soviets just, in their impulse, just moved a few units that they could. They're trying to cover their line as best they can. It's not working out good. They really need some foul weather here to slow things down. Even though the Germans are stretched really badly. But anyways, okay, so they did that. Then we went to the Democrat impulse. The British, the Commonwealth, keep calling them the British, but did the best they could trying to patch this up. They retreated a little bit here to give them a few units to move over into this area, try to patch that. The Italians made that into the Democrat impulse. The Italians don't quite have enough to actually get an attack in on this hex, even though it's a +1. They don't even have a 2-to-1 because their HQ is way back here. So it's a supply problem. It's 4 to this hex where they can draw supply. Now I think the HQ can draw supply from shore. Actually, I'm wrong. We got Alexandria right there, so they can draw supply from that. Okay, so the Italians were done. That was quick. The Germans flipped another sub in the Faroes Gap, and they have one attack in Russia. So let's do the Faroes Gap first, because the one attack in Russia is an 8-to-1 on the Blitzkrieg cable, which is an automatic. Oh, in the Democrat impulse, the United States moved some ships out here, and I didn't pay the oil for them. Probably ought to pay their oil. It cost them 2 oil to move 3 ships. The first one's free. All right. Let's see what happens. We got, the reason why the American ships are in the 0 box is they can only escort convoys. So that's why they're in the 0 box. But that counts against ASW. They have the WaSP there with a plane, which will count as ASW factors. All right, let's see what happens. I think it's the same as before. The Commonwealth has a +1 in the 4 box, and the Germans have nothing. They just have the 4 box. So let's see what we get. Well, we got a 2 and a 3. So there are no surprise points. So the Commonwealth is going to choose an air action, and they have to do an air action. And the committed units are from the 4 box. So it's 1, and we have 3 ASW, 3 anti-aircraft. The subs are not going to be committed. 3 anti-aircraft against 1 plane. I did this before. It's 1 plane. It's nothing. And he has 1 air-to-sea factor against 2 ships. It's nothing. So we'll go for another combat round. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad. We have a 1 for the Germans and an 8 for the Commonwealth. So we have 4 plus 8 is 12. 1 plus 5 is 6. We have 6 surprise points. All right, I'm going to work these numbers out. The Germans are going to choose a sub-combat against the 0 box. So I'll work these numbers out. Be right back. Okay, I'll work this out. We have 11 ASW factors, counting the WaSP and her air unit. We have 24 sub-factors, and the Germans have 6 surprise points. So what they're going to do is they're going to move the ASW down 2 tables, cost 2 per, and they're going to move the sub-attack table up 1. So the Commonwealth has 1 destroyed, no aborted, no damaged, and the Germans have 3 destroyed, no damaged, 2 aborted. So 3 destroyed, or two. We'll do them first. We'll do the Commonwealth first. So they get to pick one to destroy. They obviously want to destroy one that they know they can destroy. They're going to kill this one because it's a 10. It's a 10. There's no chance, so it's sunk. That's the end of that. And now the Germans are going to hit the Wasp for their first destroyed. That's an 8. Well, the poor Americans roll a 2. Looks like the Germans inflicted the first American casualty. The Wasp sinks. Now the Commonwealth or American player can pick the next sunk ship. They're going to pick the Chicago. That's a 7. Roll a die. Have to roll better than a 7 to keep it. Nope, it sinks. Oh, it's action. Now the Germans will pick 3 convoy points to sink. There's 1, 2, 3 right there. They're sunk. They're happy with that. And then they're going to, we get 2 aborted. So the Commonwealth will pick the Indianapolis for an abort. That's a 6. It's aborted. It's gonna go home. Go home, cry to mama. The Germans will pick 3 convoy points to abort. Alright. I'll take them 3. I don't think it matters. That's the end of that. We'll do a round 2. The Commonwealth doesn't really want to abort at this point. They can get lucky, they can sink some subs. So let's see what happens. The Americans are the ones that took it on the chin. 5 and a 6, nobody finds anybody. Just so we clarify, the fascists rolled a 5, the Commonwealth rolled a 6, nobody finds anybody. That is it for combat in that zone. So there was 1 ship flipped over. I get these mixed up. It's this guy right there. And this guy right here are in the 4 box. He's flipped over because the other flipped over guy got sunk. And they're all in the 3 box. They're all in the 2 box. Yeah. And these guys are all in the 0 box. Okay, that's the end of the fascist turn. And the Italians just moved up a little bit. Like I said, they don't really have enough to make an attack. The Japanese are doing nothing because their air power is all flipped over, so can't do anything. See if the turn ends. It will end on a 3 or a 4. We'll end on a 3. A 10, we keep on going. You see the 10 over there? Flew way over there. There it is, 10. Jeez. Stand up, stand up, stand. There, my stand was having a moment. There's the 10. And now it's having another moment. Alright. Oh, come on. Be back. Okay, the Democrats finished their impulse. The British didn't have a whole lot to do. Kind of tried to scare Africa the best they can. The Americans sent some more ships into the Pharaoh's Gap. More ships for the Germans to torpedo. I guess the Americans feel that's better than having British convoys torpedoed. The Soviets kind of looking pretty sad right now. The only thing they got going for them is the fact that a big chunk of the German attacking ability is flipped over. And they don't really even have enough to make an attack right there, as it stands. And they're just kind of waiting for the units to flip back up so they can start moving again. There's a real big problem for the Germans right in this area. Oh, why is that over there? Something got moved around. Alright, I gotta go take a look at something here. I think I moved a unit when I was looking at a stack, and I did. I did. Let me put that back. That was supposed to be there. That's supposed to be there. There. I won't be able to do anything, but oh, I'm okay with that. The Germans did flip a sub in the Faroes Gap. Let's see what happens. The sub action in the Atlantic is getting hot and heavy. I think it's about the same as it was last time. Well, an 8 and a 9 basically does nothing. So the subs couldn't find anything, and the British couldn't find anything, and the Americans couldn't find anything. So nobody could find anything. Works out pretty good that way, I guess. We will roll to end the turn. Oh, that's it. Turn's over. So the communists missed having an impulse, so their marker will move up into the +1 box. I will send everything back to base and flip everything back over, and I'll come back after I roll for partisans and do production. Okay, so I've done the partisans and I've done US entry. US entry came out with the Germans getting a 0, the Italians getting a +2, and Japan ended up getting a +4. So US entry is starting to build up a little bit. I did the partisans. Partisans were interesting. We ended up with a partisan in Iran, Persia. One partisan there. We ended up with a partisan in Russia. One partisan there. Denied the Germans a resource. And we got a partisan in good old Yugoslavia. Like normal, have all kinds of partisans in Yugoslavia. And that was the partisan roll. And I did production. Production is getting kind of interesting. All in all, grab the stand. Come over here and see what got built, what got produced. A whole bunch of stuff. Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. Alright, so Germany ended up producing 37. They started with 30 and they spent 42. Laid down a whole bunch of ships, completed some subs, completed an aircraft carrier. A bunch of militia, a couple of air units, and are developing the resource in Ukraine. Oh, and 2 pilots. I'll get them mixed in there. There's 42 total. Japan produced 20, started with 6, spent 15. Some combat air groups, a bunch of ships they laid down, some convoy points, and I think all these came out of the repair pool. This came out of the construction pool. Okay, the Italians produced 11, started with 1, spent 5. Pretty simple. The Soviets produced 23, had 10 in cadres, for a total of, actually they produced 21. They had 10 in cadres, for a total of 31. They started with 24 and they spent 32. Lots of militia. Lots of militia. The Commonwealth produced 22. Their production's gone up a little bit. They seem to get their convoy pipelines stabilized. They had 1 cadre, so that was 23. They started with 14. They lost 1 from strategic bombing, so that's starting with 13. The U.S. spent 6 to repair Commonwealth ships. Let's see if I can knock the stand over again. That was pretty smart last time. There's 6 points worth of ships that the United States repaired. And they built laid down a bunch of ships, some combat air groups, built a headquarters. Who is this? Monty. He built Monty. Maybe he can save Egypt for them. Who knows? The U.S. Produced 27. Sent 3 to England. Started with 24. That's a net of 24. Started with 12. Sent 6 to repair ships for the British. That left them with 6, and they spent 15. Laid down some ships, finished a bunch of ships, and building another fighter, and good thing it can go to the English. Oh, those are scrapped units. Let's get them out of there. Alright. The Chinese, move this over here. China produced 4, had 1 cadre, that's 5. Started with 6 and spent 7. The Free French produced 1, started with -2, spent 4. I'll get this stuff on the production wheel and get this turn put together and uploaded hopefully in a day or so. Hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And if you can, subscribe. Maybe leave a comment. Let me know how I'm doing, bad or good or whatever. Anyway, I appreciate it. See you in a bit.